All right, so welcome. We are going to learn how to nail our 5-minute speech. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to just put them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer them. I'll look at them periodically, but like I said before, get yourself a pen and a paper and we'll go through this nice and quick and we'll give you lots of information. The way the presentation is going to work is that we're going to look at all of just a couple of little roadblocks, things that I've seen people do to get into their own heads and into their, to really stump themselves up when they get this opportunity. Then we're going to go over some little bit of tips, some solutions, just a nice overview. Then we'll go into the mechanics of the 5-minute speech. And then, like I said, you can ask some questions, so that'll be great. So just to start off with here, to let you know, like I said, everyone who attends the speaker's retreat gets 5 minutes on stage. The 5 minutes on stage is your time to do with as you wish. It will be filmed by our professional film crew, which is Fish Tank, and they're amazing. I love those boys. And we will have booking agents at the event. Just so you know, the way that they are going to participate this year is that they are going to be there the entire time, mingling within the event, seeing how people participate, how they network. They did that last time, and then when they emerged from the crowd, people sort of, they went, surprise, we've been here the whole time, and now people have caught on to us, so we're just letting you know. All right, there we go. Cool. So Melissa's getting everyone to check in, telling us where you're from. That's amazing, love it. And we'll get going. Oops. So the first thing we're going to go over is those roadblocks. What's holding you back from actually doing a really great presentation when you're on stage? A lot of people, and I hear this time and time again, they go, I want to nail this. This is my opportunity. This is my big chance. I want to do something really great here. You really need to relax a little bit. There's so many opportunities. We're going to do a ton of speaking at the event. You're going to have lots of prep time. Again, one of the things that I see with people is that they actually switch their presentation sometimes when they get there. Go with the flow. If you want to come with it fully written out and laminated and color-coded and indexed, that's great. If you want to see where the moment takes you, then you can also definitely do that as well. So I'm seeing a hand raised, and I'm going to try to acknowledge those hand raises, but I'm trying to also give you a good presentation. So the very first roadblock that I see all the time is, I need more time. I can't give my presentation in 5 minutes. I have hours of content that I have to share with everybody. So how can I possibly be doing this in only 5 minutes? And a better question would be, what can you give in 5 minutes? I believe that huge things can be accomplished. And one example that I have for you is I have a client that I work with, and he basically, we crafted his 5-minute speech. He presented it in front of a live audience, and he sold 2 clients into his coaching program, which was worth $10,000. Which means that he made $10,000 in a 5-minute presentation when done correctly. So that's the first thing. You do have plenty of time, 5 minutes, just to close the loop on that. You see great athletes, and they get, for an example, hockey. They skate up to the goalie, they get there, and the ones that freak out and think they don't have enough time and are panic to shoot, they tend to hit the goalies right clear in the pads. But the ones that stop, relax, feel like they have a lot of time, it's smooth, and they make a lot more goals. All right. Some people are nervous. I know that this is a speaker's retreat. Not that many people, not everyone is nervous. A lot of people are, a lot of people aren't. And it really doesn't matter, because I know for me that I've been working in theater. I had a theater company for years and years. I've been a producer and a performer. I run a speaker training company. I've been on stage countless times, and I still get nervous all the time. It's just your body's reaction to having a lot of people stare at you. And what I know to be true, that to get over the nerves, the very best thing that you can do is to get out of your own head. That means when you're standing up there on that stage, It's really not about you. It's about serving. So if you can think about, how can I serve this audience? How can I be the best value for them? The nerves dissipate. I mean, it's a practice thing. There's lots of techniques. A couple of them would be, deep breathing, centering your body, getting your feet squarely planted. Because one of the things about nerves that can foil your presentation is the fact that you might fidget around, you might not be aware of your body. If you feel yourself nervous, slow down, plant your feet, take a deep breath, and think about your audience as a conversation that you want to have with people. You're there because you want to share a message, so share the message. The other roadblock, besides this mouse that goes so fast, is sometimes people want to make an offer. They get up on stage because we own businesses, and we know that speaking is really the best way in all marketing strategies to get more clients, to get more bookings, to sell your products, your services, your offerings, because they get to feel your energy. Some people might say, well, I don't have anything to sell. I'm just really here to have the opportunity for people to see me so that they can maybe book me for their events. Well, that's selling you. And another thing to think about in the terms of selling, because it's kind of this funny thing in the speaking world, you're making an offer for people to improve their lives in some way. And if you're not making that offer, you're actually doing a disservice. And I know people hear this all the time, and I know I've said it a lot of times, but really recently it's just become glaringly evident that if you offer a bunch of free advice to people, if you give away the farm, if you're not valuing yourself, if you're not understanding that you're presenting a new way of thinking, a new idea, you're making a sale. All you're doing is you're offering your audience a way to move forward with you. So it's really important. So you are making these offers. You are putting a big old bullseye on yourself, and you're saying, like me, listen to what I have to say, what I believe in. Help me help you. I can help collapse time for you. Don't make my mistakes. Things like that. Another thing that people do on the stage that can kind of throw them for a loop is this idea of over-educating. Let's just say all the words that I know all at once. And it's just kind of what we want to do, especially transformational leaders, because they have this burning passion inside of them to share something, and they want to definitely make sure that they give all of that information all within that 5-minute time frame. And you don't have to. Less is definitely more. All right. And I love this one. I mean, the attachment to outcome. When you get up on that stage, you're going to be there at Speaker Retreat. You're going to be on any stage that you're on, and you're going to have a plan in your head. You're going to think, I want this to go really well, obviously. You're not going to think otherwise. But some people say, and I hear the words, I want this to go perfectly. I really need to nail this. This is my one opportunity. And no presentation on the Speaker Retreat, on any stage, even if they're paying you, even if you're paying for that spot, in no universe is that your only one chance. Okay, so setting the intention first, and then really releasing that idea of outcome, because you don't know what can happen up there. And I mean, honest to God, this happened to me. I was giving a presentation, and right beside the banquet room where we were speaking, it was actually a community hall where I was speaking, there was a ball hockey rink. And inside of that ball hockey rink were very loud handicap ball hockey players. Okay, so it's noisy. All right, that's one thing that we kind of expect. But what we don't expect is for one of the ball hockey players to be as mad as you can possibly be in a hockey game and come storming through your presentation, cursing and swearing in the most foul things you've ever heard in your entire life. And it's like, whoa, I could not have planned for that. I really did not see that coming. So really, I mean, I also know speakers that the lights have gone completely out right in the middle of their presentation in a really important part. People have any number of things that we can't prepare for. The real simple ones are, maybe your projector doesn't work, the sound flubs up. You can't really predict what's going on stage. So you have to be able to be okay with just continuing on. And that really does, once again, come from that place of serving. Cool? Cool beans? How not to blow your speech. There actually are a couple ways to blow your speech, and I'm only going to say this facetiously because I actually think every time we do something on stage, off stage, in any area of our lives, that it's an opportunity to reflect and grow and to become better and to have great stories, you know. But if you were going to blow your speech, if you're going to come to Speakers Retreat and blow it, I think that the first thing that you were going to do would be to not understand what your purpose is. So what do you want to utilize this opportunity for? Many people come to Speakers Retreat because they know they're going to get the video, they know that there's an audience there, and they know that there's booking agents. Now, any one of those three things can mean a multitude of things for any, like a multitude of things for every one of us. So for an example, some people might be coming there because they want the sizzle reel. I'm going to come up there, I'm going to do a sizzle reel. If you completely flub it, and I've seen people mad about this, oh, I didn't say this in the right spot, I did that, and I should have done this. These things can be cut. They can be adjusted. It's content. But that's really not the most important thing, because a sizzle reel is just a tool and you're missing the bigger point. The bigger point is that you have a piece of uncut footage that's going to show you exactly what you're doing on stage right and what maybe you might want to change or tweak. Every athlete out there will look at the replays every time. The big game, they'll watch that a lot, right? So if you're hung up on the idea of creating a perfect sizzle reel, first of all, let that go and really try to see from a deeper purpose. The video is more of a training tool. Every time we do it, every event we attend, and we have a recording, and you should, by the way, even if you're taking out your own iPhone, you want to look at that as an athlete would look at their performance on the big game. And maybe another outcome or purpose that you want to, your purpose for being there is maybe that you understand that what you're going to say to the audience might translate into some great networking. Maybe you're going to make partners or clients, or, you know, you might serve authors, speakers, or coaches, and what you have to say may be of relevance to them. And that's awesome. If you're going to do that, you're going to craft a speech that would have that full, complete, I'm going to have the opener, I'm going to give some valuable tips, and I'm going to make an offer. You can totally do that. Another thing that people do within their time on stage is they practice something. You know, there's a whole concept of show and don't tell. You can get up on stage and you can tell a story with a simple, I do this for a living at the end, and people will come and talk to you after and really want to connect with you further and see how you can support each other. And obviously, one of the reasons people like to be there is they want to be in front of people who can get you booked. I want you to really think about this as well, because yep, there's people in the audience, myself included, a lot of my club members, people who have opportunities for, club leaders, sorry, people who have opportunities for you to speak, but also you never know who's in that audience. You never know what collaborative events you could be a part of. So you want to show up at the event. It's not just show up when the booking agents are there. Booking agents look for things like, how do you respond in the entirety of the event? Do you love this slide? This is awesome. It says, AKA, what is the? That is a fill in the blank moment. Did not finish the sentence on that slide. So I hope that makes sense about purpose. And I don't want to move on here. I'd actually like to see if anybody who's on the line has any questions so far about, you know, what do you want to use your 5-minute spot for at the Speakers Retreat? And I will sit here for a second and let you type that in if you have any questions. The clarity, very nice, Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly, how's it going? Yeah, clarity is very good. We'll just move on to the very next slide because you're reading my mind again. Yeah. Understanding your purpose is what makes clarity. And so what do you want the audience to do after you're done? Oh, this is the same slide. You've got, and to do this, what you need to do is you need to understand your solution. All right. Just to let you know about clarity, just to follow that loop, during Speakers Retreat, we go over a process called core message clarity, and it's really important. We're going to do a little bit of examples. I do this a lot. I know that some of you on the line have seen me do this, and this is a practice that it's like onions being peeled away layer by layer. We are verbal processors. We're speakers. To get clear, we need to vocalize our message. We need to write. We need to be in front of people. We need to see how these messages land. So you're going to have a lot of time to get more clear. And practice, practice makes perfect. I have I heard it. We've all heard that thing. Linda wrote, practice makes perfect. And I like that. But I mean, perfection, again, giving up the idea of perfection, it just gives us more of a deeper, wider, broader, richer range as a speaker versus being completely perfect. It's actually, on that topic, I think that people are more interesting when they're not perfect. I think that's when the real uniqueness of their personality comes along. And I have a friend, and she's awesome, and she has this accent, and one of the words she says instead of saying basement is basement. And she doesn't like the way she says that, but for a long time I would try to trick her into saying the word basement because I loved the way it sounded rolling off her tongue. The things we often don't like about ourselves, I've seen it time and time again, our accent, the way that our mouth kind of goes crooked. These little quirks of imperfection are what endears our audience to us. Okay. Megan says, how do I determine exactly what is best for me? I'm struggling between getting bookings and networking for leads. Okay, very good question. So you want to kind of get an idea of what your purpose is going up there. And when you are unclear, the best thing to do in the entire universe is think about that one audience member, that one life that you could transform, because you want bookings for that very reason. You want to be in front of more people so you can have a bigger impact. You want to get leads and build a growing, thriving business. Why? Because you need money and revenue, because it's energy, so you can have a bigger impact. So for me, any day of the week, if I had 5 minutes and I didn't know what to talk about, I always ask myself this really important question. If everybody in this audience left, they didn't become a lead, they didn't book me for a speaking engagement, what would be the one thing, the one gift, experience, nugget that I could give them that they could walk away with and their lives would have been better for it? If you ask that question, Megan and everyone else out there, if you ask yourself the question, what is the one thing that I would give as that piece of advice or that experience? Your speech is going to be exponentially better. People will want to book you because they're going to feel connected and supported and like you. So it's really, I mean, again, if you're using words like I'm struggling, go to them, go to your audience. What do they need? Because it's going to come out a lot better for you. Okay, so Catherine said, I'm really happy to get oh, sorry, does that help, by the way? If you want any clarity, type it in. I'm happy to okay, so I'm just going to skip down for a second and finish Megan's loop here. It says, you're sharing your story okay, or should I focus on my program? Yes, that helps a lot. Good. You can do both. I mean, when you're focusing on your program, it should be a story. And everything that you're doing should be a story. And we learn better, we connect better. If you're selling software or locksmith services, we're going to buy better from you when you tell it through story. All right. Practice makes better. Yes. Practice actually makes permanent. Yeah, I like that too. Very good stuff. Any more questions on that? I'm happy to answer them. I'm going to go on. Going back to your core message is usually, well, it's a couple of things. Something that you're passionate about. You know, I see a lot of speakers who go, well, I talk on this topic and I talk on this topic and I also talk on this topic. And usually they are focusing on the one that makes them money, but they light up when it's the one that gives them passion. So if you're going, well, the one that gives me passion isn't the one that's going to make me money, it's untrue. It is absolutely untrue. The reason we believe this is because society, we are entrepreneurs, we're creative individuals, we're speakers, we're all of these wonderful transformational leaders. And while you're finding your path and building your business and creating your place, you need to grab a lot of your life experiences and try to sort them out. And what society does is it looks at us like we're flakes. Oh, you're trying something new? Oh, you're going to change that? You're going to shift again? You're not really. All you're doing is you're weaving down your path, getting the experiences that you need to have that often you don't even know are important. Time and time again. I mean, my background is as a theater producer, right? If I didn't do theater production, if I didn't do performance, I wouldn't have the methodology of the way that I coach now. It's unique because of that experience. I one time decided that, I do a lot of events. I'm very good at filling events. But I thought maybe if I had the right software, then I could leverage my business. So I studied all this technology stuff. And what I did was I thought I threw myself off my path because I took myself away from the creating events and performing and speaking. But what I didn't know at the time was I was actually gathering a skill that I needed. So when you look at your core message, it's comprised of, what is your experience base? What do you love doing? Where do these meet? Where's the intersection that it actually has a meaningful impact on the lives of somebody else? Thanks, Sharon. Okay, so how many people at the retreat? We're expecting 200 plus. Linda, to all panelists, funniest thing that we've ever seen. Jeff Denham trying out new material on our audience. That's awesome. I love that. You know what? I was just talking to somebody who's been in the speaking industry for years and years, who's, in a seven-figure speaking business. And the biggest predictor of success for a speaker is the willingness to be bad. Being okay with not having your shit together. It's really important. So Kay said, is it better to have speeches all written out or outline or memorize or bullets? I have done all of these things, Kay, and I will tell you that writing out a speech is great. I usually write it out, but then it never comes out that way. So I've written outlines, and that's also great. I've tried memorizing, and I've put bullet points together. What I find works best for my style, because it really is a style choice, is speaking from the heart to the audience, having an objective and some bullet points that you want to speak on. If you're leaving yourself the room for fluidity and creativity, I truly feel that you're going to have a better presentation, and also you may just flub it, which is great because it's those moments that help us grow and expand so much. You cannot fail at the speaker's retreat. You cannot. The way that you can halt your progress is to get inside of your head and stress, relax, and enjoy the process, because there's nothing more beautiful when you're on stage and the stars and the moon are aligning and the words are flowing out of you. It doesn't happen all the time, but there's such joy in being on there. If you get 5 minutes and 4 of those minutes you're stressed out, and for 10 seconds you have this magical moment, we'll see it. And another thing is, we don't know what our words mean to other people. So get up there and let them out and enjoy yourself. So if it would be for me, I would be like, I would be all about, bullet points and a good objective. Thespians do rock, Adam. I'm all about that. Woohoo! How will we be mic'd? There will be a microphone on the stage. It's not the one that's taped over your ear. I have that one, but that's because I'm not allowed to play with those microphones. And no mic dropping, please, unless you just really have to, but don't. How do you tell a story as partner speakers? Oh my gosh. Actually, there's partner speakers on this call. We each have a unique reason that we founded our company. Yeah, but you still have the same objective. That is an amazing, I mean, I've never really spoken with partners, but I know that Hank and Sharon Uloff are on the call here, and they did such a delightful job of just bouncing off each other. And I think that the thing that they did really well is they had their individual stories, their individual personalities and reason, but they bounced off each other. They did that rule of improv. They were listening to each other and just having a really fun time. The unique reasons that you founded your company are going to be awesome. And then when you bring them together, it'll be like, I had this reason, she had this reason. Look what we created together. Yeah. Does that make sense? More questions? I'll move on. So clarity as best you can. Again, I mean, it's a journey. If you have a different message, we're just at a different part of that journey. Be on time. There is a clock there. You're going to be able to see people really respect you more when you're on time. If you're done at 4 minutes, nobody gets mad if you end early. In fact, we find that quite delightful if you're concise. Understand your purpose. Be on time. Be on time. I think I wanted that twice. Practice. Write it out. So again, I like the idea of writing out something, an outline and bullet points, but not as a thing to have with me as the speech, but as an exercise for clarity. Expectations versus outcome, and less is more. All right. Big tip, it's always practice. It's never the final result. I keep harping on that. This is a great book. I talk about it all the time. And the concept of this book is that, you know, we spend a lot of hours. If we're speakers, we've got to be speaking all the time. We've got to practice. It's a good book. I'm not going to go into it. Sharon says, for those of us that are a couple, are there 2 mics? Yes, I will definitely make sure you have 2 mics. We have a bunch. I'm glad, Crystal. I'm glad it was helpful. All right, the mechanics. So here's the mechanics of just a simple presentation outline if you want to go and you want to, I mean, I really do think preparation is key, and then releasing that outcome. So when you're going to be in a room, you're going to want to grab their attention. And it doesn't mean you have to be crazy or out there, but here's what's really going on. We are in a room and there's going to be a lot of speakers, and the audience can sometimes just have the residue of the last speech that they heard. Maybe they're pondering, they're thinking about something. So you want to get them back into the room with you. You want to get them with you, right? You know, stories are great. I really like stories that are open loop because it stops us from our automatic thinking. And open loop means you know, maybe you start the story midway and then you don't continue and then you wrap it up later, as long as you close the loop eventually. Questions are great. Quotes are great. Humor. Jokes and humor, I mean, I don't like them when they're rehearsed. I like them when they come out. Demonstrating something's great. But I'll tell you my favorite. There is no better way in the entire universe than to get on a stage, ask some questions of your audience that are good, relevant questions, and listen for the answers. So it might be something like, I'm going to talk today about marketing. Who's ever had a problem with marketing? And people will raise their hand, and then you'll say, tell me about it. Who wants to tell me about something like that? Let them talk. If they're your opener, they're actually going to be more interested in you. Oh, crazy. It's pretty awesome. What's in it for them? So again, being really clear on what's going to happen during the presentation. So, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm going to talk for, you know, you get their info, you get them the questions. They're all with you. Today, we're going to talk about, you know, marketing, the biggest marketing mistake that you have, for an example. So you're going to, you know, something better than what I'm saying right now would be better than that. Let them know what's in it for them. And then when you're crafting this, you want to look at the main section. What I like to do, because a 5-minute can be expanded into a workshop, you can do this by adding more stories, more activities, did I say activities? Stories, activities, points. But really, I always like to start with any speech with 3 main points. Helpful specifics, things that you know to be true. Then a little sub-point, and a transition is really important. You don't want to be going, here's this wonderful point, the purpose of this point is this, and then just totally flipping on them, because you want to smooth that transition. Point 1, 2, and 3. And then you summarize them up. In conclusion, wrap it up in a nice bow. If you've had any of those pattern open loops, make sure that you close them up here, give your moral to the story, and then have a call to action. And I don't care if you just simply told a story. If you asked them to purchase your offer, it doesn't matter. You need to give them a new way of thinking, something that they can do. That whole concept again of, if they never saw me again, in what way could I improve their life? Okay, girls, so hard in 5 minutes. It's not. You got this. You got this, Kimberly. Any more questions? Where are we at so far? Questions for me. Call to action examples would be, thought-provoking questions that they can leave with. And a good example would be, I'm going to answer that question in a second. Answer your question in a second. Thought-provoking questions. A good example was this guy I met, young guy, very handsome, came to one of my speaker clubs, and he told a story about being homeless and how he had this beard and how he was all dirty and how people walked past him. And he said that the hardest thing about being homeless wasn't being cold, wasn't being tired, wasn't being hungry. It was being ignored by other humans, like just not having anybody acknowledge his existence. And he said, I implore you, the next time you walk by a homeless person, acknowledge them as a human being. You don't have to give them money. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but allow another human being to feel like they're seen. So, I mean, that was really powerful for me. And, we just really I wanted to embrace that thought. And I did think that the next time I saw, a homeless person. Do we have to have 3 points? No, you can have 1 point. These are rules of thumb. When we're creating mechanics of a speech, it gives us that outline, it gives us clarity. Often when we go, I'm going to come up with 3 points, we find the one, and that's all we need. So you absolutely do not have to. I'm on the road while watching this. Can you share the deck? I most certainly can. I'm going to share. I have a template of the mechanics for you, and I was going to email it to you guys at the end anyway. More like guidelines, pirate codes. Yeah. I'm calling them pirate codes from now on. Offer your products or services. This is another call to action, obviously. Ask them to opt in for a free gift that you will provide. Present a challenge or new way of thinking. Here's something really, what I think is important for you, and it's a really good tip if you're going to ask them to do an opt-in. Get them to do it there. If you can do it on, like join my Facebook group, text me. If you can do it there, you're going to have a higher response rate than if you're on a stage at a speaker's event where people are going, my call to action is I have this product, go to www.buymyproduct.com. You'd rather give them take out your phone and join this Facebook group. In 5 minutes, I think your offer should be more about getting them into the next phase of conversation with you versus making an actual sale. Rules of thumb, 5 minutes, you can sell, $20, $30, $50 products. Some people, they're like my client, he did a $10,000. That was awesome. You can totally do that. But as the rule of thumb, for most people, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use your 5, your 3, your 1 as an invitation to continue the conversation with you. And yeah, that's what I like to say about that. Questions? Okay. So this is a really important takeaway, and it's about feedback. And peer feedback is awesome in its own right, but it's not something that you should bank your speaking business on at all. I know that if you're my mother, she's going to say that my speaking is always perfect. There isn't a mistake that I've ever made, and there's no way in which I could ever improve. I am that good, and Deepak Chopra should take notes. She calls me Wayne Dyer and Craig Ferguson's baby. But so my mother may have a skewed version of me. Your spouse, and I've seen this too, might be like, oh, I'm going to write down all the weird little things that you do that you should never do. And I've heard them call them the person's name isms. They're trying to take away those things that make the speech great because they're very close to that person and their motives are probably good. They want to help them get better, but they're not coaches. You want to have expert advice to make your presentations better. And in the absence of expert advice, what you are going to want to do is you're going to want to make yourself the expert. And I'm going to tell you how. It's awesome. You can have feedback from people who are not speaker trainers by doing a couple of things. Really focusing on the audience and watching for clues. So when I'm talking, I'm wanting to see where people are leaning forward. It's a clue, it's body language, they can't lie. Where are they nodding their heads? What words do I say that always get the head nods going? It's part of the clarity. People start to appreciate, okay, I'm really having an impact here, and you start to see what word. It's sometimes a word in your presentation that makes the difference in your entire speaking business. It's a word that can get you booked, make a sale, land the deal, anything. So you want to watch for these clues. The other thing you're going to want to watch for is the opposite. When are they sitting back? When are you losing interest? I've seen speakers be up on stage where people are literally looking at their watch, falling asleep, and they're still not catching on that maybe they need to do something different, right? So your audience gives you expert feedback when you're standing in front of them watching. The other thing you can do is you can get expert advice, which is what I do a lot of time. Well, that's part of my job, is to give feedback on your presentations. And being a speaker, you need to know this. You're in a constant state of getting feedback. All right. At the retreat, I'm going to offer that people can have their videos critiqued by me for $97. I'm going to sell them. They always sell out. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you first dibs because I limit them. I charge $250 an hour for my coaching. There's people on this call who paid me $250 for my coaching. So for me to do a feedback on your video is one of my most favorite things on the planet. I love helping people grow and expand. I've been in theater and have run my business for over 20 years. I'm a speaker trainer. I have people in year-long programs who are on this call. But truly, you need somebody to look that over. You need to look it over. You need to see what the energy is in the room. If you don't want to go on ahead and get the feedback with me, I'm totally fine. But I'm only going to have 30 people that we do it for because we just get really super busy. All right, so if you want that, that's where it is. You can go and do that. In the meantime, what I would like to do is to see if there's any more questions about Speakers Retreat, your presentation, the feedback, anything you want. I'm here for you. Any pirate codes you want to make up? Okay, while you guys are typing that, let me break that down a little bit. So we have these 30 people. We look over your video. We go through it. We make notes. We then have a call with you and we go through it bit by bit, because some of the most important things that I do when I'm giving feedback to people is you can watch where the energy changes. And I can basically say to you and pinpoint, what were you thinking right there? Like, what was going through your head that made that shift? And there's something that usually really is a standout moment. All right. Looking forward to the opportunity. Thanks, Mike. I'm looking forward to it as well. It's going to be a blast, you guys. It's going to be so fun. These are my favorite times of year. Recommendations regarding attire. Yes, I want, number one, I think you should wear something that makes you feel awesome. If you feel awesome, you're going to feel awesome on stage. If you want rules of thumb, we've got a black curtain for the video. I wouldn't really recommend wearing black. So something colorful. I also think that, solids are always a really good choice for a speaker. If you have something really distracting, you can lose people to things like that. Okay. All right. Thanks, Robert. I did a call for action to show you guys that you can do a call for action. Thanks. Like it. Okay, so what day does this happen? What day does this happen? Oh, in slides. Okay, so Sharon, got some questions here. We speak all of the time at Speakers Retreat. You're going to have a ton of opportunities throughout our general sessions to be up on stage, to be building out core messaging, to get feedback, to make connections. The speaking spots, the actual 5-minute spots that are yours, will be given to you at registration. We don't sort them out beforehand because, sometimes things come up and it throws our whole schedule. So I don't do that to my team ever. Does that help? Schedule for the 3 days. Might have to leave early on Sunday due to going back to the East Coast. Okay. So we have, during the weekend, we have the 5-minute presentation, Sanjay. When you get there, just express your situation to our team, okay? And they can help you out. Will we be divided into different rooms like in October? Yes, but Sharon, we made it better. We made it so much better. For those of you who've been to Speakers Retreat before, we have the main stage and then we had 2 breakout rooms. And I told my AV team that I felt like the people in the breakout room didn't get the benefit of the set, the drape, the stage. So now we've draped and put sets in all the rooms. So yes, you're broken up because we have a lot of people, but we have beautiful sets for you. And there's even surprises on our sets. Yay, I'm glad you want to get my feedback. Catherine, that's amazing. I can't attend till Saturday. Yes, you know what? I believe fully in going to a 3-day event, participating in everything that you can do, but you can't always participate in everything because life happens. So definitely I don't recommend missing, but if you have to, for sure, no problem. Yippee! I'm registered, but didn't get a spot. Do you need VIP registration? You are registered. You will get a spot. I meant, and I'm going to clarify this, when you check in at registration. So when you check in, we'll say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Let me see. I got so many questions coming in. Does everyone get exactly 5 minutes? Yes, you can take less, but we really do cut you off. And the reason why is it's a respect thing for the rest of the audience. And it's a really good training thing for you. When you're on somebody else's stage, you always want to be on time. You don't get invited back if you don't. So it's a good training, and it's also respect for the audience. Okay. Not at registration on Saturday afternoon. Okay. Oh, yippee. Woohoo. Thank you, Sharon. You're awesome too. And I want to call you and get that podcast going. Will we have headshots, the 5 minutes and the interview on the same day? I don't really want to carry my makeup with me everywhere every day. Linda, we can couple things. Okay, so getting into that, there's two things here. We are accommodating people. We want for you to have every bit and piece of tangible stuff that this retreat has to offer. We're very good at delivering it. I also understand that people want to do hair and makeup and wear certain things. We're going to give you lots of prep time because we aren't going to do any of the videos on the Friday. We do them the Saturday and the Sunday. The headshots go on all throughout the weekend. If you want to have them done on the same day, we can make that happen. But again, great headshots and great videos come from showcasing your personality. Have fun behind the camera, okay? Okay. No, I know you're not giving out the time. Melissa's yelling at me. I know you're not giving out the times till Saturday afternoon. Okay, well, if I know that, then why am I saying at registration? On Saturday, when you get to the event is what I'm trying to say. You will then have your spot. Okay, will we have a couple headshots together, separate or both? Well, we want the speaking to be done. If you speak together, you get on stage together. But if you are doing your headshots, do them separate. If you guys want to go back and see the photographer after, if he has time, because there's a lot of people, you can talk to him, and he can probably also work out some deals with you if you wanted to get extra stuff. That's between him and you. I don't try to upsell you into any videos or photos. I just want you to have the pieces that we promise you. That's what we're giving you. So yeah, please be aware. You're so nice, Larry. I'm reading the questions now, so I'm going to look at what Larry has said to me, and I'm going to read it because he's being very polite and respectful. All right. Okay. Okay, so if you missed any of the webinar and you're coming in late, I'm going to give you the recording. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely, Larry sent me a nice email saying, and this is good for everybody, you can, if you missed any part of this, I will send you the recording, okay? Thanks, Linda. You know what, I love doing these. I think setting people up for success is just a beautiful, full, energetic circle of win-win-win. And one of my favorite sayings is, If I win and you lose, I win once. If you win and I lose, then you win once. But if we both win many times. So I love that. Would you prefer long or short sleeve? That really doesn't matter. Yeah, truth bomb. Aw, thanks. Kimberly, you're just making my whole day right here with these nice comments. So, I mean, that's really about it for this. I know you guys are going to do amazing. I'm going to sit on here for another few minutes and answer more questions. But definitely have a good time. Speakers Retreat is the whole purpose behind it is for you to be and have all of the tools that are going to make you a successful speaker. And part of that is remembering your passion and bringing it out and sharing that light that's inside of you with people. Additional fees for items when you get there? No, like the videos and the headshots, things like that. Is that what you're talking about? There is additional fees if you, at any point, if you're not a VIP and you want to upgrade and buy the lunches. Yes, there's fees for that. Your photo, your video, this is all part of the ticket that you currently have. If you want to do anything else outside of that with the photographer, you can definitely go on and do that. We have sponsors. They have product, services, offerings. We have, ways that you can work with us, but you are definitely leaving there with literally everything that we're promising you. Lots of people on this call have gone to these events multiple times, so they know the value of coming every 6 months. Because I believe, first of all, speakers need a lot of video footage, they need a lot of photos, and they need them to be recent. So every 6 months is what I do, so we keep our retreats every 6 months. Yeah, it is amazing. Thanks, John. Yeah, you're welcome, Wanda. It's going to be fun. Oh, I get a good tip. I'm going to tell you guys a tip if I'm waiting for questions here. One of my favorite things to do is to go and walk and find a coffee shop in the morning because I love coffee. When I go for a walk, I do something I call the 4-corner rule. So when I'm in a new place or a hotel conference, I leave the entrance, I go find one corner and I turn and I walk down it until I find a coffee shop. While I'm doing that, I look around, I see what that area has to offer, maybe make a new conversation or make a new friend. And when I come back to the event, I'm a much more interesting person because I have things to talk about that recently happened. And what I always find is that the people who are in the room either saw the same thing or we have something in common that's so much more connected than so what do you do? I love connecting with people in a way that is supportive and heart-centered and gets you to know them as a human being and a thought leader, which is what you guys are, versus, so what do you do? So a really good tip, I really hope when you get to the event that you network your butts off and make such great connections. I hear this a lot and it makes me feel like I'm on purpose. When people say, oh, I went to your event, I met so-and-so, we did a collaborative event, we're the very best of friends. I even have this one guy who, this is kind of off color, but he's come to a lot of my events and he kept meeting women that he would date. And so I'm not sure if he was coming there for the speaking business building, but nonetheless, he certainly liked coming to my events. Any more questions before I tell any more bad jokes? Okay, so we have a unique niche, childbirth and empower women on the journey to motherhood. So obviously, of course, it isn't for everyone. What should we offer from the stage during our speech connection with us? And somebody asked about PowerPoint, sorry. Connection with us via our Facebook group or our page. I heard the best thing, Crystal, today from my friend Jimbo, who's going to be there. And Jimbo's worked with Lisa Sasevich, Suzanne Evans. He is the co-founder of Hell Yeah Studios. And he said that when we're speaking, it's awesome to speak in front of groups that aren't necessarily our niche because number one, if you can convince a few of those people, you know that you're really on target. Two, you don't know who is really in that audience or what kind of networks they have. And three, the unique perspective makes the experience so much more rich for the people in the audience, and it does actually make you stand out. So if you have I mean, I'm not sure about your product, Crystal, but I just know that whatever you would say to your ideal audience member as a place to connect with them, like your Facebook group or your page, I would say that very same thing to the same group. When people go into an event trying to be all things to all people or change their core message, they actually, they do a lot more separating and isolating themselves from the audience. Share the heck out of your childbirth empowering women story. It's going to be awesome. That's why we are partners. I was just about to ask. Oh no, I don't know what that. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, Barry will not be convinced to have a child, so good to know. Is there a table or place speakers can leave their information for attendees? Yes, there is. We have one sponsor table where you can put your business cards, your flyers. Everyone shares the space. It's a really great place for you to see who's in the room. Do it respectfully. I know you guys will, but I just have to say it. When we pick up the business cards, we want to connect with the people. Oh, this is a good tip too. We're going to meet so many great people in that room, and you're going to get their card and you're going to connect with them on Facebook. I take notes of people that I want to follow up with and what inspired me to want to talk to them after. It could be, I really like them. They seemed fun. I want to hang out. Or maybe we had a partnership conversation or whatever. But I make notes, and then I make the damn sure that I call them after or connect with them in some way, because most people don't. And I don't contact them for just buy my thing. I contact for them for, again, it's always, if people buy your program, if they join your Facebook group, if you make friends with them, all we're doing is we're helping to transform lives. So coming from it from that point of view, but definitely take notes. You're welcome, Crystal. But I also am a big believer in putting out your information so people can connect, because you have to be seen. So there's quite a few of you still on the line, so I will still take more questions if you have any. Projector and slides, I saw one up there. We don't have slides projector for the 5-minute speeches because the change in between would be so crazy. It would just be too long. Yeah, so we don't have slides. Yay, Adam. I'm looking forward to it as well. All right. I'm still here because you guys are. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you too, Kimberly. It's going to be amazing. So many, I always kind of get a real big kick out of all of these people from all over the place when they come to Speaker Retreat. So they could come from Canada or various parts of the United States or anywhere. And I always feel just such a real honor when people take the time out of their schedules to come and collaborate in an environment like this. How do you help someone who may freeze during the presentation? Oh, yes, I love it. You know what? If you're feeling awkward or uncomfortable on stage and you freeze, don't turn inward. Don't be like, oh God, I'm freezing and they're all looking at me. Name the elephant in the room and, I'm freezing. I don't remember what I'm saying. Talk to the audience. Find one human being and talk to them. And a perfect example of this is last Speaker Retreat. I'm on stage, 217 people in the audience, and I completely forget what I'm talking about. And I'm like, oh, I forgot what I'm talking about. Does anybody here know what I'm talking about? And somebody starts going, you were talking about this and that. And I'm like, oh yeah, you reminded me. If you freeze on stage, ask for help. The audience is endeared to you when you do that. If you freeze on stage, people, we're in the same boat. It is such a supportive environment. Becoming a great speaker is about patterns of success. Becoming a great anything is about patterns of success. You need to know, sorry, I want to grab your name again. Pamela, you need to know that we've got you. We want you to win. And put that thought into your head when you're up there if any nerves or freezing happens. Can I bring a banner to put up for speak, refer to, or selling? No, actually, we can't have banners up because we have sponsors and they've paid money to put their banners up, so we can't. You can bring your promotional materials and put them on the table, or you could actually reach out to Melissa if you wanted to get a sponsor table. Good way to remember who you want to talk to is to get their business card and you want to contact, oh, bend the corner down. Yeah, nice one. So if no slides, how should people best connect? I would say words. Bring out your phone, type this in. If you put it on if you want to have a flip chart, sometimes people bring those big giant Post-it sticky notes. Sometimes we have easels. I'm not going to promise anything. Sometimes we do. Honestly, really, if you go, get out your phone, put your name into my web form or my Facebook group or text this number, you don't really need it. No easels. I got no easels. I'm getting yelled at. Not easels. You can bring big giant sticky notes. Can I tell you the pricing on a table? Did you call it a sponsor table? I can't offhand, actually. I think we'd have to look into, Melissa would be the best one to contact. She built those packages. So you can chat with her. Yeah. I'm excited too, Pam. La Jolla. I'm in Canada right now. Thank you, Jackie. I have to drop now, but I can't wait for this. You are welcome. I can't wait as well. Yep, I'm looking forward to it. Sanjay. One more thing too, if you're on the call, just remember to join the Facebook group, the Pure Potential Speakers Retreat Facebook group. Great things to do in that group are to, if you want a room share, if you want to ride share, introduce yourself, put a video saying I'm excited to go to the event, meet new people ahead of time. One of the best things I ever did at a conference, it was an Infusionsoft conference, and I made a ridiculous video called How to Survive PartnerCon. Had no purpose. I wasn't trying to sell anything. I just wanted to network before I got there. Maybe warm people up so that I could have something to talk to them about. So I made this funny video and I put it in the Facebook group. And when I got to the event, people were like, oh yeah, you're the one who made that video. And I was like that much further in our relationship already. And we already felt connected to each other. All right, look forward to it. I'll still stay. When I see lots of people on the call, because there's still quite a few of you, I'll wait till you drop off and answer any more questions. We're hanging on your Barry. I can hear you making fun of me right now. Well, fine, if you're hanging on to my every word and Barry's making fun. Barry's actually going to be one of the speakers on the main stage, Barry and Kat, which is going to be great for those of you who are doing couple speaking, because you're going to see a couple up there together. They are the regional directors of the Pure Potential Speakers Club and they're awesome. Bye, Linda. You have a fabulous evening too. All right. Oh, look at you guys all go. This is nice. I'm going to be doing feedback after feedback with you guys. This is very exciting. Okay, worst thing that could happen is a wardrobe malfunction. Oh, how should we manage that? Pamela, you just asked a question about freezing, and I'm going to tell you a horrible story, but I have to. I was taking yoga and the yoga teacher training actually years ago. And the teacher was talking about making sure you check your clothes before you go and teach a class. So because what happened with her is she's teaching and she has her legs open and she's stretching and she doesn't realize that she has a big old rip right where you think I'm talking about. And she's not wearing any undergarments. So she gave a good show to her yoga class. So what she said to do is before you get on stage, move around in front of a mirror. Yeah, I know. No. Move around in front of a mirror, bend over, stretch your shoulders, make sure nothing's going to rip. Wear something you feel comfortable in. Something happens like a wardrobe malfunction on stage. Best thing to do is, just acknowledge it. If your shirt falls off, cover up and go, oh, my shirt fell off. I think I'm going to take a break now. Right? Yeah. I'm excited to meet you too, Kay. And never mind, found it in my email. I wish I knew what you found. Okay. So this will be our very first time speaking on stage together. We do Facebook Lives together, but never stage. Oh, I'm so excited for you. Like I said, Barry and Catherine Cohen, Hank and Sharon Uloff in the Facebook group. If you want to reach out, Crystal, to those guys, they are speakers, couple speakers who speak together. I know that Barry and Kat are also coaches who coach or business strategist who help partner couples work together without killing each other. Wendy, hi. Great. Yes, I'm excited as well. Aren't you, Wendy, aren't you excited to leave all this snow? Yeah. Good, good, good. All right. And then there were 20 left on the call. If you guys are trying to outweight me, you can't. You like listening. That's nice. Thank you, Pamela. I'll tell you a funny story about listening today. I was doing a podcast recording with Jimbo and Melissa, who's the COO of Pure Potentials and an amazingly awesome, wonderful person that you guys get to meet, called me, and I answered the phone by accident and didn't hang up. And she listened to the podcast recording and she said it was like having her own personal podcast. So that was fun. All right, Barry. Yeah, looking forward to meeting you as well, Catherine. Yay. And for those of you still on, like I said, I'll make sure that you get the templates and everything as well. Good session. Good to meet you as well, Wendy. See you very soon. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes because if people are slow typers, I don't want to cut anybody off. I'll be driving from Corona, but we'll be on time. Nice. Good. I'm glad it's helpful. And like I said, we're going to do a lot of stuff to get you prepped even on site. The reason I do these is I really know that people want to get prepared in different stages. We want to get mentally prepared ahead of time. When I first started doing these retreats and events, I said, don't worry, I'll get you all good when you get there. And what I found was people had some anxiety coming into the event, and I don't want that. I want you to come in and be very relaxed, joyful, and really, really crush this. Knock it out of the park. Yes, you're welcome, David. I can't wait to see you. If there's a laptop, is there a way to print? Well, I'm sure it's a good, very, very nice hotel. It's the Hilton Torrey Pines. So I'm sure they're going to have a business center there. And we are going to give you notebooks and handouts too. So we have things for you to write on. Is there a prayer group if you'd like to pray before you start? Yes, there's lots of people I'm sure who would pray with you. And if it's a praying because of nerves, you can do that. If it's a praying for whatever you want to do, go for it. Go for it. I just kind of laughed because I saw some people very nervous at one of my speaker clubs, and I didn't mean to do this, but I thought it was funny, and it just reminded me of that when you said that. It was just after Christmas, and I had these brandy chocolates, and I was passing them out. And people are like, are you giving us these brandy chocolates beforehand to calm our nerves? But I was actually trying to be nice. It was just funny. Yeah, you know what? And another thing about praying before you start, do what you got to do to get centered. I think it's a beautiful practice to just get into your body and calm yourself. Feel the part of you that feels passion. If that's your faith, if that's your pet, get in touch with that space because it does make you a better speaker. And focus. Yeah. I really like this, Pamela. It's a great tip, a great thing to expand on. I kind of make jokes where I say, don't touch your projector before a presentation. Don't be in the mindset of your of production crew or producer. Do something before you get on stage to get into the mode of, I'm a presenter, I'm a transformation leader, and I want to be that conduit to let my message flow through. That focus. All right. Well, it's 9:04. You guys are amazing. I'm super grateful to see you all. For those of you who keep coming to these events, for those of you who are new, we're going to do some more information sessions in the Facebook group, so I'll keep you posted. Reach out in the group if you have any questions. And I am super honored and delighted and excited to meet you all in very soon. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh. First speaking event, yay!